walking about in no man's land. I think at last I understand. History never repeats. I tell myself before I go to sleep. There's a light shining in the dark, leading me on towards a change of heart.
Social studies is the study of human relationship. Before we talk about social studies, we need to understand that social studies is one of the courses that are a part of a larger group of courses known as the humanities. The humanities are what it sounds like. It's the courses that make us human. They are courses that separate us from animals because they stress our intellectual and creative side rather than focusing on an occupation or science. Now, I am not saying that animals and humans don't do things similarly. We both build shelters. A beaver builds a dam. We both work in groups, like a pack of dogs. But despite what the Planet of the Apes movies are teaching you, animals don't have things like governments. And let's take the example of the beaver. The beaver makes a shelter just like a human makes a shelter, but they don't go around to art galleries and say, oh, there's a pretty painting I want to put in my beaver dam tonight. Where we appreciate art. We like to be have our creative style. You have a different style of house you like. Your parents, maybe bought their house because they like a certain style, like the colonial style, for example, here in Chester. Beavers just build a beaver dam to live in. So what are the humanities? Here are typically the courses that are considered humanities courses. Art, music, religion, literature, philosophy, social studies, and foreign language. The following are the courses that you take at Black River that are not humanities courses: math, STEM, science, computers, and physical education. But one of those humanities courses are the social studies. And social studies is the study of human relationships. Now, my college mentor, Dr. Voss, he would begin every year saying that history is the study of everything, that you need to know something of every other course to understand history. And I'm going to take it a little step further. I'm going to change history to social studies. Now, what do you mean by that? Well, let's say you saw a life expectancy chart from 1700 to 2000. In the mid-1800s, you saw a spike. And you're wondering, well, why did life expectancy all of a sudden jump in the mid-1800s? Well, if we look at it historically, we see this guy. One of the reasons could be this guy, Louis Pasteur. Louis Pasteur, among many things he discovered, was penicillin. Now, we would need to know what penicillin does to understand why this could relate to the spike. We know that penicillin is an antibiotic that helps cure bacterial infections. Now, I don't need to know the molecular structure of penicillin, but I do need to know basically what it does to understand why there would be this spike. And of course, understanding the graph itself is mathematics. Understanding what penicillin does a little bit is science. And when we put it all together, we come to understand history. Now, social studies, we look at humans. We study humans. Why do they do what they do? We try to understand humanity. It's not like, like in biology or in the sciences, you have the scientific method. If we had a marble and we knew what speed, what weight, and what direction we had to force it into, add a can of Coke to knock it over, we could do it every single time. It wouldn't matter the color of the marble. It would always knock it over. Now, let's say I had a little boy, and I said to this boy, hey, go over there and knock that can of Pepsi over. Now, he's not like the marble. He's probably going to say, no, I don't want to knock over a can of Pepsi. So I start thinking to myself, what do I have that could make this boy knock over the can of Pepsi? And I go, oh, you know what I have? I have a donut. Hey, here, I have this resource, a donut, but I want you to knock over that Pepsi can. Would you give up the resource of your time and effort to knock over that Pepsi can, and I'll give you the donut? So the boy goes, sure, for the donut, I'll do it. So he walks over and knocks over the Pepsi can. I give him the donut. We're both happy. That's social studies. That's basic economics. What would it take? What resource would it take for me to give up that he would give up something of his? What would be that trade? Now, let's say we bring a little girl into the equation. I want the little girl, and I go to the little girl, hey, knock over that bottle of Pepsi, can of Pepsi. And she says, no, I don't want to. So I go, oh, you know what I'll do? I'll do what I offer the boy. I'll offer you a donut. And she goes, no, I'm gluten-free. You kidding me? So you see, it does what worked for the, it's not like the marble where we knew every time if we did the same effort every time that marble would knock over that can of Pepsi, we're not getting the same results here. Now, a couple of things are going on here. One is this can of Pepsi. I would call it a soda. Well, that's geography, right? Because in the Northeast, we call it soda. If it was the Midwest, these two kids probably wouldn't know what I was talking about. In fact, if I was from the Midwest and I came over here and I said to these two kids, hey, knock over that can of pop, they would probably be offended, thinking, why would you want me to knock over my pop? My dad. Again, cultural geography. In the Midwest, they refer to soda as pop. We refer to it, of course, as soda. Also, we can look at maybe junior high boys have different motivators than junior high girls. That would be sociology. What in general do junior high boys, what motivates them, and how does that differ from junior high girls, the group of junior high girls? Or, of course, we can look at each child individually and say, what in their behaviors? The boy loves donuts. For the girl, she has chosen to eat gluten-free. The donut would not be a motivator. There is psychology. And then, of course, maybe both kids look at me, since we're in a public school, and say, you can't give us the donut, because that's against the law in the state of New Jersey. Now we're talking about politics, civics, law. We can even ask, I can say, well, is that law even a good law? Why does that law exist? Should there be a law that says I can't give out treats or sugars as a motivating factor? Should the government step in? Now, I'm not saying that law is right or wrong. All I'm saying is when we ever question those laws, we're involved in social studies. So right here in a little thought experiment, you've seen the social studies going on. So let's look again. So social studies is the study of human relationships. And in social studies, there are several social studies classes. One is geography. Geography is the study of places on the earth, the environment that is there, and the people who live there. Typically, we talk about maps. We talk about why in some areas they build their houses on long poles. Other houses are made out of mud. That deals with the geography of an area. What people wear deals with geography. Then there's cultural geography, like the issue of pop and soda. How people talk, their language, their customs, etc. is cultural geography. Another social studies course is economics. And the economics is the study of people and resources, the relationship between them. Again, like the donut. What of my resources would have made the boy knock over the can of soda? What are you willing to give up to get something else? That is economics. The next social studies course is psychology, and that's a study of human behavior. Why do we do what we do? What does motivate us to action or non-action? Then there is sociology. Sociology is a study of how people behave in groups. Again, like the group of junior high boys compared to junior high girls. And the thing is, you're involved in many different groups. You may be a junior high boy. Obviously, you're in a group of boys. You are in your age group. You're in a different ethnic group, maybe a different religious group. So sociology, there are many different group factors that are kind of make up who you are. And we try to study how each group acts, their customs that they have created for themselves, their laws that they create, in a sense. I'm not talking, when I say laws, I'm not meaning like legal laws. So why do groups do what they do? And then the last one is political science or civics. This is how people and government relate to one another. Again, that deals with laws, government structure, why do people follow laws, what causes rebellion, how do we make a government run smoothly, how do you vote? These are all issues of political science or civics. So you can go back now and you can look through the tape again, look through your notes, and try to answer these questions. 1, what is social studies? 2, what are the humanities? 3, name courses in the humanities. 4, why is social studies the study of everything? And 5, what courses are considered social studies courses and define them?